honoring your heart tonight. Thank you for being here, beautiful yogis. This is a yin class. I call it yummy yin because we, really want it to feel good. And today I read a quote, sort of an ancient yogic quote that I'd never seen before. And this is it: no pain, no pain. So if there's anything that is, pain is sort of it's got a lot of energy around it, but anything that just doesn't feel right, shift it, change it, do something else. Really, really, really use this time to listen to your body. So as we start lying down, we're going to work kind of progressively from our hamstrings to our hips. And all of this is going to also include some strengthening for our back body and also our inner thighs and our knee area. And I am having issues in my tissues in my knees. And so this is a little bit of a offering for knee health. And, I think it's important for all of us, in all directions. So have a blanket or a beach towel or something that you can roll up. We might be using that a little bit more, and a strap or a scarf, and maybe 2 blocks. So, okay. So namaste, and thank you again for being here. Remember, no pain, not no gain, but no pain, no pain. So perhaps it's not that ancient, but it certainly is appropriate. So sometimes just coming down for a few long, slow, deep breaths really is appropriate, certainly after a long day and a cold day and maybe a little shoveling outside. So just find an easeful positioning. Oftentimes this wider stance with your feet flat to the mat and your knees tapped together really does the trick. And then, you know the tempo and the rhythm of your breath and how it feels when it does, that magic of just bringing you to now. Please don't hurry. Tonight, if we feel like we're hurrying, it's just sort of typical life then. This is atypical, this type of yoga, or this type of living, in our yoga. It's oftentimes yoga can feel like just one more thing on your list, and I don't want that for myself or you. And so just take this time for you. And tonight I want you to be a little bit aware of the sensory energy of yoga. We speak of it internally and externally as prana, Prana. And it's the energetic, I'm using that word doubly now, the energy of subtle energy. So perhaps it can't be measured. If you were to measure it, but it's there. And it's there not only in a human body, but in life body. So animals and trees and plants and sky and clouds and sun and moon and stars. It's in everything. And you are part of that. So know that you are being supported not only by your breath and your postures, your quiet mind, but also by everything around you. It's a nice feeling. I went to a neurologist today, and I listened to a neurologist today who spoke about the noise that we have to combat in our lifestyles. It's the noise, the continual noise of devices and the news and the internet and just noisiness. If you live in a city, if you even live out in the country, they were talking about how there can be machinery and noise. And some of us are very sensitive to some of the noise. I know I am. If Andy plays something on the computer that, I don't want to hear, I want to put on headphones or earplugs, and they say, do that. Sometimes you can just cover your ears so you don't have to hear it all. Or better yet, you could be in the sound quality of something you do want to hear, like piano music or something, beautiful. And the neurologist talked about a playlist, actually, which I can plug into our member page, our Facebook page, called Music for Sleep. I think I found it. And it has some of the qualities that we use in our music, certainly some of the artists I recognized. That's one way. Or you can go out in nature and just listen to the natural sounds without any podcasts playing in your ears or even music. Or you could just listen to your breath. So remember that what you hear is part of your allowing in. If you don't want to listen, if it's too noisy, if you're too sensitive, that was the name of the playlist tonight, Sensitive Soul. If lighting is disturbing to you, or sound or smell, I know I sometimes get a gift of a candle I don't like the smell of, and I feel badly, but it's just your senses are speaking to you in a very intimate way. So don't hurt anyone's feelings about the candle, but just let your candle go. So I hope you feel easy now and relaxed, shoulders melting into the earth. Maybe rock your head a little gently, super gently, side to side. And then our first posture will be a stretch. So let's take both of our knees into our chest. It's important to kind of start here. So I'm going to look at my battery content again. You don't need to know that, but you might see me do it. And then let your knees fall over to the right. If you bump into a brick or anything, it's probably a good thing. So just let it hold you there. The space between your body and the floor sometimes is a little too acute right away. So you just want to be where you are. And then let's take our knees. These first ones, we're just going to hold for about 5 breaths. Don't count. Just I want to give you sort of an idea of our timeline here. Beautiful. And then bring your knees up and bring your knees back in towards your chest. Place your feet flat, kind of where they were earlier, about hip width apart though this time. And then we're going to take our brick and place it between our sort of our upper and middle kind of upper, kind of the middle of your thighs. So not at the knees, but kind of the middle of your thighs. And place your hands flat. And I'm just going to talk about what we're going to do. This is for your internal, your strength, your inner thighs, really strength, the inner line of your body. Let's call it inner thighs, inner knees. This is just a really great way to strengthen that area of our bodies, which sometimes gets wiggy because we turn differently, or we grab things and we're always sort of not in our balanced center line. So this is going to help our center line. So we're going to lift up just a bit. We're going to squeeze the brick. So you want to turn on inner thighs. You can feel that right away. Inner knee. Just press enough so you do feel it. And we're just about 6 inches off the mat. We're not way up high. We're sort of hovering. We're just going to hold this for 5 breaths while we squeeze. And it might not feel very yin-like, but it will feel healthy and strong. And then our other postures will feel, more in our bodies. So this is a little bit of work. It's our Sushumna Nadi, our center energy. You might feel it a little in your lower abs. You can kind of maybe touch where you feel it. If you're feeling too much, you can lower down a little bit and stop squeezing as much. So kind of turn on what you want to turn on here. Let's take 2 more breaths. Eyes closed. Focus on your breath. Your body likes this. It does. And then we're going to release down and relax. And your body likes this too. Now we're going to lift up, let's say 5 times. Let's use the number 5 tonight. We're going to lift up, sort of curl up to about the same spot, squeeze, and then curl down with a squeeze in operation here. So squeeze up. So there's a little squeeze kind of going on the whole time. And squeeze down. Good. Let's do 4 more. Squeeze up. I know that's 6, but I was afraid maybe it didn't come along the first time. And squeeze down. So we know our inhale opens or lengthens. This is a back bend. And exhales contract. So there's a little Uddiyana Bandha on the way down, belly button. Engagement, lift up and down. Some of our stretches will feel really good after this. That's sort of why we do this first, so we have it in our practice, and then down. Beautiful. And then we are going to lift up one more time and hold it for 5 breaths. And you're welcome to lift a little higher. So if you're doing a typical bridge, you might lift up, lace your fingers under your bum, tuck your arms, and then lift up taller. And then a squeeze. And it might be a little difficult. I haven't done this either for a very long time. So we're activating muscles that might need a little wake-up call. So let's take 3 more slow, deep breaths. 2 more. 1 more. Good. Maybe 1 more just in case we weren't all together there. Lovely. Release your hands and slowly come down. Beautiful. Let's take the brick out. Let's bring our knees into our chest. I want to stay with the brick, but this is a very happy posture you all like. We'll lift up again, and we'll slide our brick underneath our low back. We'll take our knees over our brick and our legs up to the sky. You're welcome to flex and point and move things around if you'd like, or just find a comfy position to stay. Close your eyes and breathe. Take about 5 long, slow, deep breaths. And if you're in the mood, open your eyes, flex and point your toes, snap, crackle, pop, rotate your ankles. And then let's take these stretches. This neurologist I saw today talked about my piriformis. This is a really great stretch for psoas and piriformis, which I understand wraps around your glute, your low back, your hips. So this is a place that we all tighten up. And we do this stretch a lot in all the yoga classes I teach anyway, but in Yin always. We'll do about 5 sets of these. So this might feel a little bit more active than typical Yin, but I think, like I said, it's the atypical yoga practice, and it can include whatever we want, of course, but things that feel good, things that are good for us. Like if we were going to have a plate of food, these are all the greens, right? Some greens are a little bit more hearty, and others are a little bit more, I don't know, just easy. Alrighty, and then here we are. So we're staying here. Let's stay here for another 5 breaths, but this time just a little action in your heels. So you feel, or flexion in your feet. So you feel from the back of the heel to the back of the knee, and maybe even beyond that, a nice stretch. But this is an active stretch, but rather yin-like. Good, and then just lighten up the flexion so you're not holding that like that. And let's take our bicycles and our Cirque du Soleil asanas and just come outside the lines. And then bicycle your legs down to the earth and settle there for a moment. So this is a modified bridge. So we were in bridge earlier with the brick. I suppose we could use the other brick here, but we've done that enough. So, but if it had been too much for you, could have taken 2 bricks and used one between your thighs and one under your back. Let's scoot this back out and roll back and down and bring your knees to your chest. Oh, that feels so good. And then let's take our right leg, right knee into our chest, extend your left leg, and here's where we're going to use the strap or the scarf. So I'm just going to use my scarf tonight. I have both, but kind of prefer a scarf anyway. And you're going to wrap your foot around, or wrap the scarf around your foot and bring your leg towards you. And since this is yin, we're staying pretty static. We're staying pretty just long, slow, deep breaths and long holds. Try not to put too much tension in your neck and shoulders as you do hold this stretch. What's nice about the strap is you don't have to try so hard to reach higher or even reach. You can just kind of hang out here. And most people have a strap. We used to have men's ties, but I don't know how many people have ties anymore. I should look in Andy's closet for ties. I'll be like, where'd my tie go? But I don't know if he has a lot of them. And then we're going to take our leg out to the right for 5 breaths. Now here you might want to bend your left knee or hold your hip down, or I'm doing a little of both. That way you can maybe take it a little deeper, longer. This is really nice with a strap. It's harder with just your fingers and your arms. Sometimes it's just too long to reach for. And then here we'll crisscross over our body. This is my favorite posture almost in yin, and take it to cross over our bodies. And that is really nice. Usually close your eyes. And maybe a little bend in your knee as you bring your knee back towards your armpit, and just rest here, or pull a little bit, rest in the pull. Perfect. And then let's shift sides. So loop yourself up and just take the stretch, in your own desired, intensity. It doesn't, certainly shouldn't be harsh. You can bend your knee a little bit. You can bend the opposite knee to keep everything easy. We're just always wanting to remember the ease. And I know we're kind of tensing our shoulders by the pull in our arms. A little of that's okay, not too much, just right. And then combining the strap to one hand, to your left hand, we'll take our leg out to the left, and you can bend, you can hold, you can reach your right arm, at, kind of wingspan like that, so you're connected, not, fighting the current. Perfect. And then slowly you can bend your knee if you need to, bring it up and find your way to the other side. We've got 5 long, slow, deep breaths. Perfect. And then a little bend, and just gently bringing your knee back in towards your chest. Let's bring both knees to our chest. One might feel a little tighter than the other, and using your sense of knowing, intuition, or knowing, the feeling. the feeling sense, yeah. Which one might be a little bit in need of a little bit more love? Good. And then reach up for your baby toes if you can, or your big toes, and come to happy baby. Always melting anything you can melt that feels like it's not, like any tension, shoulders, facial muscles. I like a little horse lips here, maybe. We forget how much tension we hold in our faces, which I know we know, but we do it. And so just trying to undo it and be as conscious of it as we can so we can consciously release it. And then knees back to armpits. Good. Maybe a little roll of our ankles. And we'll come up. No way of coming up, just your way. So either a roll or a roll to the right or left and come up. And now if you have your blanket or your towel or a pillow, even a sort of a little-ish pillow, you can place it underneath your knees. And we're just going to take that same stretch that we did kind of on the brick when we flexed our feet. And my feet are a little off the mat. I'm just having the bolster or the blanket underneath and just feeling the stretch around your quads and your whole leg, and you're stretching and you're strengthening. And let's lift up nice and tall. It's not round, so good. And then just drop gently your heels and relax. I'm going to suggest a little knee rub here. And then taking your arms up, we'll just take a forward fold. Now, we could have used a strap here just to kind of implement the strap through the class, but I kind of prefer maybe a brick between our calves, and then, or upper calves or lower calves, and then just a rounded spine. Just gonna check my sound again. I don't trust this thing. All of a sudden it's like down to the last whatever, and I don't know it, so I just want to make sure. So thank you for letting me check that. And now just check in with you. Turn down the volume, right? No pain, no pain. Letting go of pain, I mean, that has such meaning, right? Not just physical, but the emotional pain we hold, and it's the resistance, the reactions. Sometimes we're around a lot of noise and we just react. No pain, no pain. Remember that. This is said to be one of the quintessential Yin Yoga postures. So let's give it about 5 more breaths. Nice. And we know coming out of a posture is as important as going in or staying in. So be sure you take your own sweet time to come up, and take, all the time you need, and, just when you have and you feel like you're up there again, just stay for a moment to recognize the feelings in your spine, maybe in your hamstrings, maybe in your belly, maybe in your neck. Speaking of our necks, let's either sit on a blanket or a bolster if you want to, or a brick. So, and also have your handy dandy scarf or strap. I hope I didn't like catch you by surprise and you didn't have one, because this next posture is one that we really need that, not the next one, but the one after. I'm going to keep this knee kind of up if you don't mind. It's, I don't know, doesn't want to go down. So we'll need it for the next one. But let's first off start just rubbing our hands together and taking our hands to our necks and giving ourselves a little. We talked about lymphatics last week. This is a definite lymphatic line of energy behind your neck from the skull, you know, that little indentation, which I always want to say the word that it's called, but then I think I'll mispronounce it. But I'll say it anyway. Is it occiput or occiput? Occiput? OCC something. And that is a line to drain lymph, which is really nice. We did, if you missed last week, we did a little facial massage. We can just go over it really quickly. I'll just do it once and it won't take any time at all, but it's great like in the morning when you have a little serum or oil on your hands and you want to put that into your, you know, your face. You know, so a little oil, but we can just pretend we have the oil. Take your fingers, just like maybe your first index and middle finger, and just in little circles right underneath your earlobe. It's our first space. I've been doing this in the morning, and then lower it down to right mid-neck, I'd call it, and then your lower neck. So like three to five circles, and then just kind of, I called it pet, your collarbone down towards your heart. So you want everything to just drain towards the heart. And then take just one hand and rub your chin. I like this. It feels good to my jaw. I think I hold a lot of tension in my jaw. We all do. And then both hands circles at the edge of your lips. I'm kind of going up and out here because our lips, after a while, tend to go down, and we want them to, you know, stay in that smiling frequency more. We can smile more, and that works too. Good. And then I said the knuckles, you know, you could do the hands again, but I like kind of my knuckles right underneath my cheekbone, right in the jaw. It feels really good, especially after a long day of talking or, I don't know, doing something. And then underneath your eye, and this is real gentle, so maybe you're like just your ring fingers. The lymph lies right under, it lives right underneath your skin. And then the corners of your eyes, you know, again, not dragging them down, but kind of, I love all this. These are other points too that I use in yoga and tapping. And then, in the mid, you know, right third eye. And then I'm going to suggest taking your ring fingers again up and out to the temple, and do a few of those, and then land on your temple. Let your hands gently come underneath your ears again, and mid-neck, low neck, and then out. Good. I think that's really nice. I hope you do too. So you'll take your strap. I guess I have to try to cross my legs. Okay, there we go. All right, and here we are. Really, 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 really wide. So make sure you're wide enough because you don't want to find out that you're not. Okay, so here we are. Even here is a nice stretch. It's a little active. I know these are a little bit more active, and then the last half of class will go into our long held, slower ones. And then down here, we're going over our head, so make sure you're loose enough. And over. If you're not, loosen up or just let it loosen. Good. And inhale, exhale. Great shoulder opener. A little bit more active than typical yin, but I just wanted to, do a little something different after getting good news at the neurologist. I feel like, oh, good, I can live again. I was so worried about so many things, and who knows, I still have to have all the tests. But he was very nice to me. I think when you go in and you're a yogi, and you understand the body, they do appreciate that part. Okay, here. So I call this cheerleader. Here and back. Okay, and then the other way. If I lose you, don't worry, just go whatever direction. And back. Let's do 2 more. If you get confused, you're not. And good. Good. Beautiful. Yes. Okay, rub your hands again. Rub your necks. Good job. Rub your deltoids, crisscross over. Squeeze and soak, squeeze and soak. That feels so good. Very nice. And then now let's just take our tried and true neck rolls, on your own pace and your own direction. Stay longer in some places that might call to you. There are those places that you want to hang out. Do it. Be sure you've gone both directions. Nice. And then lift up, shoulders back and down. Beautiful. Let's come over onto our, if you like child's pose, I know I've been having trouble in it, but you can also put a brick or block or blanket in between your knees just to get a nice spinal stretch here, an easy one, and then we'll come on to our belly. So a brick works. You can also take, I think it's called puppy pose, where you just keep your butt, higher. And this is nice. You can even relax your arms a little bit. You don't have to come into, deeper flexion than this. But usually child's pose feels pretty good to everybody, but not if you've got cranky knees. So just honor your crankiness if you have any, wherever it is. It's a teacher. No pain, no pain. Maybe 1 or 2 more breaths. On your next inhale breath, you'll come up to tabletop. So however that happens for you, adjust your knees to be right underneath your hips and your wrists underneath your shoulders. And then I like any kind of movement here. I mean, whatever feels good to you. You might want to stretch, legs back. We'll be going into one down dog, so we will get a nice stretch in the back of our legs. But this is more about just roaming around, kind of cat-cow-ish, but not really in that same sequence necessarily. And then tuck your toes, and we'll lift up to downward facing. So here we are in this deep stretch, definitely a deep stretch all over your body. So let it be. Walk in and out of your heels. Spend some time dropping your head and mostly what's in it. Just let this time be nurturing for your body it is. So get out of your head and into your body. Maybe lift up to the toes and back down. That's really, great to stretch all the muscles and the bones and the tendons in our feet. They kind of get ignored a lot, especially in the winter. We're not, barefoot a lot. And so it's nice just to let your feet breathe. And then slowly bring yourselves down onto your knees, and we'll come down onto our elbows. Now here, if you need a little lift in your underneath your hips, you might place your blanket, or blanket really works there. So that's nice. This is Sphinx posture. We've talked about it a lot. It's a back bend, but I like to remind us to bring our legs wide, feet in plantar flexion, elbows pretty much under your shoulders or forward. So forward, it would be a little less, I use the word acute, which sounds like it's painful, but a little less of a back bend, a little bit more of a subtle back bend, but still great. Shoulders releasing, eyes closed, deep breaths in and out. Try not to let your shoulders shrug. Keep your collarbones long and open. There is another addition to this stretch, but it's not necessarily what everyone likes, but you can press up into your arms more straight. You can have a little bend in the elbow as well, and just feel this deep, really powerful back bend. Nice. And then all the way down. If you've been in Sphinx, come down. If you've been in Seal, come down. Maybe rest your cheek to one direction, and maybe windshield wiper your legs, just to mellow out your low back a little bit. Very nice. Breathe, and then take one more posture here on our belly. Well, a lot of times I take this twist, and I hope you like it. I can offer you two different, sort of pieces of it. We'll see, which one you like best. Let's take our right arm out first. Actually, I'm doing both of them. And take your left hand to your heart. And we're just going to turn towards our right arm. Just a little bit of a twist. And a nice big deep dose of opening for your right shoulder. Try to drench the area that you feel in the stretch with breath. Nice. And we'll start to come back onto our belly and stay here for a moment, maybe turning our cheek the other direction. Beautiful. And we'll take our other side. So left arm is long, palm to the ground. Right hand kind of presses. Some people bend their knees here and go a little deeper. I'm just keeping it pretty yin-like, so this is more yin-like, to be a little bit less intense. But if you like that addition of bending your knees, you're welcome to go a little deeper. Close your eyes. Relax as much as you can through other parts of your body. This is meant for your shoulders, pectorals. There's a twist for cleansing, detoxifying. There's a lot of aspects. It's lovely. I call it torture asana. I named it myself. It has a very interesting Sanskrit name I can't remember. Try to relax. Last 3 breaths here. Nice, and we'll start to slowly roll back onto our belly. And draw your left arm now underneath for a little pillow. Just relaxation, maybe some windshield wipers. Our last 2 postures coming along now. So let's take kind of in between child's pose, pressing back to your version or a new version. And 3 more breaths wherever you are. Try to let some of the noise go, the tension go, the traffic go, the busyness go. Just find this beautiful serene spot in you, your sacred serenity. We'll come up and use both bricks now. We mentioned having 2 bricks. I hope you do. If you don't, you can use, let's see. Well, you could use a book, which might not be as comfortable as the brick, but you can use 2 bricks like this. I suppose you could use a smaller bolster. Mine's so big. Maybe this. I'm not sure if that would work. This would probably have to be like this. So if you have just the blanket, you could do it with this, like this. I'm going to try that. But otherwise, it's the top brick high and the mid brick, which I'm using this for right now, just in case you don't have 2 bricks. Oopsie, this has to be like that. Otherwise, it's high and low. Okay, all right, let's try this. So you want to have your bra strap kind of spaced hit right at the bottom brick or the bolster or the rolled up blanket or towel. Or if you have a bolster, this probably works well. I would go back to the wide knees or wide feet and the knees narrow. tapped in. This is nice. This isn't quite as dramatic as the other one with 2 bricks. But anyway, this is called Waterfall. It's about your heart and opening it, letting it break open and letting more in. Letting your shoulders drape over either the blanket or the bolster or the brick. Just letting them open even a little more. No pain, no pain. Remind yourself of that. Not necessarily physically, but emotionally. Savor your serenity. And don't let anyone, be too noisy around that. Sensitive is a superpower. All right, beauties. We're going to not fast, but maybe kind of rock our knees side to side. And I have a Shavasana position for you with 2 bricks, but you're welcome to obviously do whatever you want. There's so many ways to use your toys. So we'll come, out of this posture gently. Take your time, do what makes sense to you. And we could use everything. I'm just going to use everything just for the final posture. So if you have a blanket or whatever feels like the blanket, your strap, and your bricks, we'll set ourselves up for some delight. So the bricks are going to go to the side. We'll bring our feet together in prayer. So like a prayer. Slide or glide your strap or your your scarf. There's so many words that I have to use. And we're just going to lie down. Our bolster or our blanket is right at the base of our spine. That works pretty well. And then you just want to pull on your strap and tuck your bricks underneath you. I might need my bricks a little higher. Either put them on their low edge or their middle edge. I like the middle. And then you just kind of pull your heels closer to your groin. I sometimes, like lifting my butt up a little bit and then tucking the strap underneath or the scarf. This is nice. I'm kind of falling off of my blanket, but hopefully you're more stable. And I like the blanket just up your spine, and mine lasts all the way to my head. You want your head propped up that same height. Or you can just lie down and take the bricks underneath your knees. Bring your feet into prayer and open up. That's the more typical, sort of easy. We like things easy. It shouldn't be confusing. And let your mind find ease and comfort, serenity, sacred serenity. You deserve it. We all do, to have these moments of peace. When I spoke about the neurologist that I listened to and the noise, she said, we might like, a concert of rock and roll and a dance or two around the kitchen or the, wherever you dance these days. But our body really likes the peace, the peaceful sounds. So, once in a while, turn up the volume, but mostly our bodies really like, our nervous system really likes the peace. So no pain, just peace. This last song, I don't know that you're playing it. You might know it. And this rendition on this playlist is really beautiful. It's long. And I think it's the exact sound quality, that our body relates to in a healthy way. It's Loka Samasta Sukhi no Bhavantu, which means may all beings be happy and free. Loka Samasta Sukhi no Bhavantu. I wish you Loka Samasta Sukhi no Bhavantu tonight. Taking all the time you need and want, start to make some movements. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. If you've been all propped up, you might kind of push things away gently. And certainly, be really sweet to yourself as you come up. Maybe, find a posture that feels easy. Just gonna stretch my legs out tonight. And with your eyes closed, bring your hands to your heart, rub them together, press your thumbs to your sternum. Let all the sounds you hear be tranquil tonight, joyful, loving, especially from you to you. Thank you. Loka Samasta Sukhi no Bhavantu. Thank you for being here tonight. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you, ladies. We love you. There's still room for Africa if you want to go. We're going in about a month. And also we have a 300-hour teacher training if you know anyone who's interested. We're presenting that in March here in Columbus. And another 200-hour this summer. So if you know anyone who's curious, just thought I'd let you know. You're our ears and our eyes and our voices out in the world, your world. So thank you. Bye. Namaste. Have a wonderful Thursday night. Good night.